Thank you for joining us. Here we have Jena Greco, who is a freelance illustrator, joining us all the way from Japan. We're going to jump right into the questions, and in the meantime, we'll be having pictures from her portfolio going across the screen. Hi, Jena.
Hi.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm from America and I went to Montclair State University in North New Jersey, and I studied animation and illustration. And now I live in Japan.
So can you tell us a little bit about your background as an artist?
Yes. So I was like 5 or 6 when Pokemon came out, and that was the thing that kind of triggered me to start drawing a lot. And I still vividly remember I traced the Powerpuff Girls, and because I traced them, I memorized how I drew them when I was tracing them. And then I could draw them on my own without having to trace. So that kind of got me drawing them a lot. And I started to realize that I was capable of drawing, and it just progressed until I became that kid who draws to all of the other students. And I just draw constantly. I made tons of comics in fourth and fifth grade just during class. Like I would make up any story that would amuse me throughout the day. And it progressed into going to college for it and doing it professionally.
Yeah, as we know, the 90s had like the best cartoons to be inspired by.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So going into an art undergraduate degree, you obviously have to put together a portfolio. We're going through a couple of your pictures now, your art. So can you tell us what it was like to go through this whole process of a portfolio?
Sure. So I put together kind of a mix of my favorite things I'd done that I felt like were me, like the anime art that I draw. I put together a bunch of that. And then I also used a lot of like still life drawings of a variety of things because I wanted to prove that like I wasn't just drawing anime, like I was capable of drawing from life as well, because that's extremely important. If even if you draw cartoons or anime, it's important that you have the basics of how to draw from life as well. So I had still lives that I had done in art class. I had like drawings of more realistic people, both digital and traditional. I just tried to hit on everything that I felt like I needed to show them, and still kept it something that like represented me. I still had like things that I really enjoyed personally alongside the things that I felt like would show that I am skilled at art in general as well. And then I also had to do my portfolio interview in person. So I had the opportunity, luckily, to be able to explain myself as he went through my portfolio right in front of me.
Mhm. Yeah, like this thing that you say about still life, and as we can see in the pictures that are going across the screen right now, there's a lot of like your own art style, but also like a lot of the sky, the ocean. So it's like, and also like vegetation. And it's important
Yeah.
to, yeah, to have like a good balance of what you can draw, obviously. And that part about showing your personality in the drawings as well, right?
Yeah, it's very important for an artist to understand how the world looks without their lens being placed off over it, and then be able to place your lens over it so that you can
Make it your
manipulate it
own. Yeah.
however. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Um, I'm throwing a bit of a curveball your way. Can you tell us a little bit about like the programs that you learned to use in university in terms of being an illustrator, or do you have any experience before going to university, or what was that like?
So I actually, before I went to university, I never had a tablet actually. They weren't as big when I was young. Like I know a lot of kids, every kid has some sort of tablet now, but
Mhm.
I drew with a mouse at first.
Yeah.
So I had like pictures that I had made in MS Paint that I was actually very proud of. And I also had a program called GIMP, which is like a free program that's
Mhm.
like Photoshop Lite basically, and I still use it to this day because I'm used to it. But in college, I did get a tablet so I could draw digitally, like in a good way. And then I also, we learned, like, we had a class for Photoshop and Illustrator, and we went through all of those to learn the basics on how to do them. And it probably depends on like the school you go to, how in depth they'll go, and also depending on what exactly your major is. I majored in animation and illustration, so mine was a mix of illustration-y things like Photoshop and things like that. But I also learned 3D programs like Maya and how to like mold 3D characters and things like that. So that's the kind of things I learned while I was in college.
Right. Thank you.
Mhm.
What does the future hold for you as an artist? Because right now you're in Japan.
Mhm.
So what are you doing as an artist, and what does the future look like for you?
So I am currently creating webcomics. I have one that's been going for 2 years now, and I have another one that I'm about to start that I plan on going, like that's going to be like kind of my main baby of a comic.
Mhm.
The other one is about halfway through its run, and I just really like drawing my own stories and drawing for myself. So I like to make sure that I'm focusing on that a lot, but I also take commissions and make art for other professional endeavors as well. And I feel like that's where I'm most comfortable, is having a balance of doing my own stories while also doing other art for other people as well.
Mhm. Right. And what is a piece of advice you would give an aspiring artist?
Well, there's the obvious follow your dreams. Just go for it. I know that um, it can be really daunting to become an artist because there's so much that different things you can do with it. There's so much uncertainty around it, but you need to just follow what you love. You need to practice a lot. You need to make sure that you draw from life as well as drawing in your own style and getting used to your own things. And one thing that surprised me to learn was that don't be afraid to copy styles and kind of incorporate them into your own style, because everyone's style is just an amalgamation of all the styles that they love. And you just make it your own and bring in whatever you see that you love and just bring it right into your style and understand it in your own way, and draw whatever you love and find you a way to apply it to the world, because there's so many different things you can do with art. You can illustrate sports, you can animate movies, you can work on ads, graphic design, work with lettering. There's just a ton of different things you can do. So just find what you love and focus all of yourself onto it.
Right. I think I'm just trying to go across like the very last couple of pictures on your portfolio so we can see all of it. But I think that was
Mhm.
all very insightful. Thank you very much, Jenna. I think we're
No
almost at
problem.
the end of the portfolio, right? Just
Yeah, I think we are.
a couple more pictures. And as you can tell, a lot of fandom related stuff, which is like nothing to be apologetic about if
Oh
that's
yeah.
like what you really love to draw.
Of course. And it's a very good way to get yourself out there. It's
Mhm.
hard to start out with original things. It's good to draw fandom things, especially if you love them, because then it'll spread to a lot more people than it would have if it was just something that didn't have a name to it yet.
Mhm. It's all kind of like original work. It's a little bit harder, but you put you can get your name out there when you can create
Yeah.
stuff that people are already looking into because it's like popular or otherwise, and then people really like they fall for your art and then they stick around for it. This one of my favorites was Sora from Kingdom Hearts. And then I
Yeah.
think I think this very last picture really encapsulates who you are, your love for Pokemon, your love for art, and like all the beautiful different styles that you use in your art. So anyway,
Yeah.
this has been super insightful. So thank you so much, Jenna, and thank you very much for making time for us in this interview.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was really fun and it makes me happy to get to talk to future artists.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.